Greetings, Highlanders fans, and welcome to GoHighlanders.com's coverage of the 2011 UC Riverside baseball season. The season opener is a week away, so we sat down with head coach Doug Smith to get his take on the upcoming campaign. Coach, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, John.
Before we look at 2011, let's take a quick look back at 2010. Another 30-plus win season for the Highlanders, third-place finish in the Big West. Given what your expectations were heading into last year, what are your thoughts now that you look back?
Well, looking back, I thought we had a good year. I thought, we won 32 ball games. We were probably realistically 2 games short of getting into a regional situation. Whenever you come up that closely, you think there's something that we could have done differently to make those 2 games happen. But overall, a pretty good year. With the guys that we had leave us, Joey Gonzalez graduated, Mike Nesbitt graduated, Brian McConkey graduated, and Mike Herr graduated. To have 4 seniors all graduate on time, that also makes it a good year.
Well, you mentioned losing the 4 seniors, which is true of every sport in intercollegiate athletics. However, more unique to baseball, you also lose people to the Major League Baseball draft every June as they cherry pick your best juniors. Can you remind the folks at home which players have left us to pursue professional careers?
We were fortunate. Rob Brantley was a draft-eligible sophomore. That isn't the fortunate part. But Rob was a third-round draft, and we did lose him. But we were fortunate. Dustin Emmons was drafted by the Marlins, and he chose to come back for his senior year. And Dan Pellegrino was drafted by the Giants, and he chose to return. So from that standpoint, had we lost both of those guys as well, that could have been a bit more significant. We'd have been in a little trouble from that regard, but we're in pretty good shape from that.
Well, the entire weekend starting rotation is back this year, as is freshman All-American closer Mitch Petito. Can you talk a little bit about those 4 pitchers, compare them if you can to other pitching staffs you've had here at UC Riverside?
Yeah, we really like our pitching, and we really like our starting pitching. Matt Andres has started for 2 years now. He should be our Friday night guy and be one of the premier guys in the Big West Conference. Matt Larkins will go on Saturday. Matt has started this will be his 3rd year in our rotation, and the year he wasn't in the rotation, he pitched a lot. So a lot of experience under his belt. Dustin Emmons won 9 games for us last year. The year before was an all-conference guy. So we like our weekend rotation a lot. With Mitch Petito at the end of the games, freshman All-American last year as our closer, we're very comfortable there as well. For the Tuesday start, we've got 3 guys vying for that. Mark Garcia, who pitched limited innings last year. Trevor Frank, who was our Tuesday starter last year. And Eddie Orozco, junior. Good summer in Alaska, 6-0 with a no-hitter in the Alaskan League. We're pretty comfortable with all those guys.
The former Highlanders that are making the biggest splashes in Major League Baseball these days are pitchers.
Yeah.
Can you compare this group, probably unfairly, but can you compare them to what people have seen over the past decade here?
Yeah, Andres has got as good a stuff as any of those guys. I mean, the combination, the 3-pitch mix that he has of a good 92, 93 mile-an-hour sinking fastball, good changeup, good hard breaking ball, that 3-pitch mix can certainly match up with any of those guys, whether it be Simmons or Zepchinski, although Zep was left-handed. Dustin Emmons just going to pound that sinker in the strike zone, and Larkins is probably more like a Paul Appleby, who is making a good name for himself in pro ball as well. A strike thrower, going to not walk anybody, a real innings eater.
Well, we've gone over who we've lost in the draft and graduation. One player who you were supposed to lose to graduation, but didn't because he was injured early in the year last year, was Ryan Getz. The year before, he had 340, 16 doubles, slugging percentage over 500.
Yeah.
How's he looked so far in the fall and winter, and is he fully recovered from the injury?
He is fully recovered. He had a very, very good fall, a great fall. What a lift getting him back. He's a huge personality on our club. And we missed him greatly last year. The year before, he was our most consistent player. Day in and day out, he was by far our most consistent guy. So to have him back is hitting in the middle of our lineup. It's going to be a big factor for us.
We should mention for the folks at home that there is an inter-squad game going on behind us. So should they see your head jerk up for any particular reason, or should we all dive for cover? That is the reason. We do have a game going on behind us. You already mentioned Dan Pellegrino getting drafted, but coming back again to play with the Highlanders. He split some time with Robert Brantley, who obviously third-round pick, Detroit Tigers last year. What have you seen in Dan's game improve over the past couple of years?
You know, Dan has just gotten physically stronger over the last couple of years. His strengths are he can really manage a pitching staff. He has great feel for the game, really good communication skills with our pitching staff. The strength has allowed him to become a little bit more offensive than he was early in his career, so he's becoming a more well-rounded player. In addition to Dan, we have a redshirt sophomore catcher in our program, Bart Stepanovich, that is as good a catch and throw guy as we've probably had since Percival was here. I mean, Bart can really catch and throw. God forbid something were to happen to Pellegrino, we would be in pretty good situation, particularly from the defensive side. But we're looking for a big year from Dan.
So you learned nothing from your predecessor in putting a 300 save guy behind the plate.
No, we're going to stick with it.
let the Angels or somebody else.
Yes, let them worry about it.
Under the closer's role. Excellent. Who are some of the other returning position players that you see making the starting lineup this year?
Well, I think we've got a component group of Trevor Haregrove has played every day at shortstop since he was a freshman. Tony Nix, returning starter in center field, first team All Big West guy. Justin Schultz, who was an All-American designated hitter for us. Pellegrino, of course, Getz. Those guys are going to make up the core of our lineup. Eddie Young has grown tremendously as a player and has found a way to win a job in our lineup. Brian Horst was injured during the summer and is coming back from it, and we need to get him healthy.
What newcomers coming into the program this year that folks haven't seen before do you expect to compete for some playing time?
From a position player standpoint, the two guys that are going to probably have the biggest impact, A.J. Beckley out of Redlands East Valley. Reminds me a little bit of Brett Bigler, who left here as about a fourth-round draft choice. A very good runner, left-handed hitter with some strength, can really go get it in the outfield. He's going to develop into a very, very good player. We have a redshirt freshman back. David Andrees' brother Matt was injured last year, and so he is a freshman, and he has had a very, very big fall for us. He's a real offensive force. Will probably fill our role in the DH spot a great percentage of the time. We have a junior college transfer by the name of Vince Gonzalez out of Saddleback, who also is going to get significant playing time. He can play first, third, and he again brings some offense to the table.
Well, not only do players come and go in this business, but coaches do as well.
Yeah.
And you lost two good ones this year, Rusty McNamara, Randy Benton. Both learned enough serving at the feet of a master these past several years to warrant being hired away by other schools. Where did they go, and can you tell us a little bit about who's replacing them on the coaching staff?
You know, Rusty was with us for 3 years and had a big impact on what we do offensively. He was our volunteer, and he got the hitting coach job at the University of Hawaii. Why you go to Hawaii, who knows? It's a wild chase. But it was really a good move for Rusty, and we were excited for him. It was a good move for him. And we bumped up our operations guy from last year, Brett Martinez, who was in year 3 with us now, to take Rusty's spot as our volunteer. Brett's a very good fit for us, been with us a while, and that's been a nice, smooth transition. We lost Randy Benton late. We lost him in December to become the head coach at Cal Poly Pomona. A great move for Randy, a great move for his family. It was the right it was the foul ball into the opposing dugout. It was the right time for that to happen for Randy and his family, and he deserves to be a head coach. The timing of it wasn't great, but we were fortunate to get Eddie Cornejo, who was the head coach at Riverside Community College last year, actually played under Randy when Randy was an assistant at RCC. So bring some of the same things that Randy had. Eddie was an all Big 12 player at Oklahoma, got to AAA with the A's. He's brought some new stuff to us. It's been a very, very good fit. And I think every time you lose somebody, your initial response is, uh-oh. After you get the new people in, they bring some new ideas, and it's been fun. Those guys have been good fits, and we're pleased.
Well, another change this year, the NCAA has altered the bats the players use. I don't know if visually it's apparent, but you've certainly noted a difference in the way the ball is flying off the bat during the fall and the winter. What can you tell folks about the new bats?
The bat change is going to be significant. The bats are going to perform more like a wood bat, and I would suspect, looking at it, that the power numbers will probably go down. How about that? I would suspect the power numbers go down probably 30%. The guys that have hit 15 home runs in the past, if they get to double digits, they've had a pretty good year. Just going to have to score runs a little differently. You're going to have to be more efficient. You have to be better base runners. I think pitching and defense are obviously going to be in the forefront of the deal, but I think the game will speed up, and I think there'll be fewer runs scored.
Well, the Highlanders open with a 4-game series against Loyola Marymount on the weekend of February 18th through the 20th. We also have the likes of UCLA, San Diego, USC, Arizona State, San Diego State on the schedule in addition to the full complement of Big West games. What's your philosophy when it comes to putting together that non-conference schedule to help prepare you for conference play?
Yeah, we really do try and schedule as difficult as we can. Maybe in this year not as difficult as it has been in the past, just primarily because of the budgetary constraints with the state budget. We've had to scale back a little bit. But none of those games are going to be easy weekends. The opening weekend with Loyola is going to be a difficult weekend. We have USC just 2 days later. The conference, I believe, is going to be maybe a little bit deeper than it's been the last few years. I think anybody can beat anybody in our conference this year. I don't think you can think just because you were picked decently in the preseason poll that you might finish there. I think people can get you. It's going to be, you're going to have to play well.
Well, speaking of being picked to finish well, perfect lead-in. Your peers in the Big West Conference are predicting a second-place finish for the UC Riverside Highlanders. What kind of things have to go right in order for us to be in a position to be in second place in the conference?
We're going to have to pitch a lot better than we did last year. And I think we're very, very capable. We have the same guys, but they're a year older, a year better. We're going to have to pitch better. We're going to have to stay healthy. We're not going to have the depth to have a bunch of injuries. Losing Ryan Getz hurt us a lot last year. That could have been those 2 games that we were talking about earlier. So we do need to stay healthy. I think expectations are great. I'm glad that people expect us to finish well. Certainly much better than having them expect us to finish poorly. So I like the expectations. Our players like the expectations. And our expectations are higher than that. We want to compete for a conference championship, and with Fullerton's club, that's going to be quite a task, but we're looking forward to it.
Is Fullerton the odds-on favorite this year, and then who else is in that mix to try and take the championship?
I think Fullerton is the odds-on favorite. They may have the best pitching staff in the country. I think between them, UCLA, and probably Texas, those are the 3 best pitching staffs in the country, and Fullerton's will rival those other 2. I think ourselves and Irvine, I think we'll both have good clubs. Cal Poly's going to be very good. Again, very offensive. They're going to be a little bit healthier on the mound, I think. I think the sleeper of the group is UC Santa Barbara. I really liked their team last year. They struggled a little bit. They bring back most of that club, and I think they're going to be good. And I think they're going to be the surprise pick of the group.
Well, it all starts in a little over a week here, Coach. The weekend of February 18th through the 20th, Loyola Marymount. We got a home doubleheader Saturday, February 19th. Good luck in those 4 games. Good luck through the rest of the season.
Thanks. We look forward to getting it going.
UC Riverside's regular season begins the weekend of February 18th through 20th with road games at Loyola Marymount on the 18th and 20th and a home doubleheader on Saturday, February 19th. First pitch of the doubleheader is slated for noon at the Riverside Sports Complex. For ticket information, call 951-827-4653.